Justin, can you go back to those lyrics just a second ago? Yeah, hold me together. That's a prayer that I think a lot of us have had in tough times. Lighten my darkness. We've talked about in the holiday seasons as there's more night and less day, how darkness is a symbol sometimes for that which we fear, that which is hard. This is my darkness. The lyrics that you sang so beautiful when you started there is very personal, very, very fearful. The music is minor key. There's a lot of fear in that. Christmas is so often this balance between, you can move that one on, between these feelings of being overwhelmed and these feelings of joy. Christmas is so often, the whole holiday season, whatever your religious holiday of choice, it's a balance. Or it's an imbalance for many of us. On one side, there is a airy, sweet happiness. We will send that card. I'm going to send all my Christmas cards eventually, hopefully, maybe. We're going to enjoy that treat. I'm going to eat all the treats that y'all give me. And it'll be great. It'll be a great balance for my weight there. We will sing along. We'll hum along to these beautiful songs, or we'll have to listen to Mariah Carey sing another version of one of her songs. There's some things are so happy in this time of the year, and some of us just get soaked in that excitement. We put it on the schedule to celebrate the cheesiest movies. I mean, has anyone seen Christmas Story yet this year? Not one of you. Okay, thank you. You saved the church right there, Terry. Yeah. One. How about Amen for Love Actually? Yeah, a few of those, yeah. Elf? Yeah, okay, we see. She's going to keep that hand going. Home Alone? It's a Wonderful Life? Okay, yeah. Die Hard? Yes, okay, yeah. We didn't plan that, no. So there's some excitement, there's rituals, there's routines, and how many of us, I know a lot, everyone, not everyone, most people have a tree, and there's an ornament on that tree that you have been wrapping up so carefully for 15 years, for 20 years, for 40 years. You wrap it afterwards, you every time you open it, you tell the story to the person who's heard the story so many times, because it fills you with wonder and memory and sentimentality and love to have that special ornament on your tree. And you get another one in the middle of July when you're visiting somewhere else so that you can add to those memories. And this becomes an honoring not just of this holiday, but of your life and how that's all interacted. On the other side, for many of us, this season is defined by the weight of expectations. Parents, the weight of expectations, the power of all the things you have to get, that constant static of capitalism. For many of us, maybe the same ones who love all the Christmas things, it can just be too much. The holiday season is just too much with all the family and end of the year expectations, to fill your schedule, to empty your wallet, to fill your bellies, to empty your energy. And so, some of us, we kind of we grit through it. We make it through. We tolerate Christmas. And maybe you get into the spirit here or there. You put on the nice earrings that have the candy canes, and maybe you want to be Grinchy to your neighbors, but you push that aside, and that's great for them. And maybe even if you don't like it, you grit your teeth to get through Christmas, and that's good for you. I believe that's good for you to do that. Okay? There's a third side to Christmas. And maybe for the third side, the advice to grit your teeth and get through it might feel callous, because the sun sets so early and it can be so depressing. Because we're wrapping up yet another year that did not go quite as we planned. A year ago, we had some goals and we didn't get all those as we hoped. And we cannot participate with extravagance and exuberance. And when we try, those jingle bells can be so suffocating. So we might love it, we might tolerate it, but for some of us, this season is just hard. And we wince or we withdraw. In fact, some of us, we feel the weight of the world even worse when we're surrounded by these festivities. I mean, Zechariah and Elizabeth, with their neighbors, their family, they asked, what will this child turn out to be? But we know the answer to that question. What will this child turn out to be? What will John do? John, we know, will grow up to resist the systems that wear us down. That's John's job. He says these things about the world that just grind us down. He says, no more of that. And he envisions new ways to care for yourself and for your neighbors, and to do that in a place infused with God, he will grow up to be a prophet for the world, just aching to come to more joyful fruition. And because of that, he will be imprisoned and executed by the state, ostensibly for criticizing the king, but all in the name of refusing to accept hypocrisy and for calling on the powerful to act with integrity and with grace. If you know the baby's future is going to be so rough, can you still be amazed at its humble beginnings? Can you hold that amazement in such a frame of horror? And neighbors and families today, we know, don't you know how close we are to having our own dictatorial king who openly flouts vengeance and violence that would make the Herods jealous? How do you hold amazement in this frame of such horror? So given all that, given that the threats are not going away anytime soon, and given that it is not healthy to be stuck in those places of fear, even if some of us are really good at stuffing those fears in a stocking and letting them be for a holiday season, eventually they have to be unpacked. Given all that, how do we stay present to everything? How do we attend our hearts to the joy and to the wonder and to the despair and all that God is doing through all of it? That's the question. How do you not just hide in a snow globe and everything's just going to be fine? And how do you not give yourself over to all the mess and how do you maintain that connection to the beauty of life? This is like a Zen Christmas question, but how do you stay grounded amidst such a flurry of distractions? Well, I've got an answer for that. That's my job, to have an answer, right? 2 weeks ago, we said, step 1, acknowledge it. Name it. Acknowledge the difficulties of life, but do not let yourself be overwhelmed. If you just soak it all in, you will be overwhelmed by too much, that no matter how many movies you watch, it's not going to wash it away. There is an army of marketing hacks and politicians working around the clock to hold your attention and hold your despair. But you have control. You can mitigate the negative and you can choose the positive. There are so many little decisions for you to nudge your well-being. And part of that is just hold the good stories. Every time you see something of value, hold that. That's a way to flex your hopeful muscles. For some of us who work out a lot, we know that our muscles, all of us, our muscles need rest. Our bodies need rest. No matter if you're super strong or ailing and worn out, your muscles need rest. Your hopeful muscles do not. All they do is grow. So seek out that hope. You have this power to name your strengths against the world's problems. Number 2, we said last week, connect. You are not alone, and that means that everyone around you can be a source of inspiration. And that means you can hold yourself accountable to being an inspiration to others. One way to do that is to take simply your language. The power you have to make these granular differences in the way that we interact with each other. How can your words be a light